Hello everyone, my name is Arindam Maji. Let me present you the 3D model of a working fidget spinner made using FreeCAD. First comes the frame. To make the frame, I first made a sketch of the following dimensions. Then I used the pad feature to convert it into a 3D structure. To make it look nicer, I used the fillet feature to curve the edges. Then comes the bearing. To make the bearing, I made two sets of concentric cylinders and used the intersection cut to create such a structure. Then I fused them together using the fusion feature. To make the bearings, I made a sphere of the required dimensions and I made an array of them and inserted it between the two structures. Then to make this entire thing as one, I used the compound feature. Then we have the pins. I created the pins as two different parts. First comes the lower part. First I made a sketch of the required cross section and then I used the revolution feature to create it. As for the top part, I again made a sketch of the required dimension and this time I used the pad feature to create the 3D structure. Then I used the fillet to make it look nicer. Similarly, I made the second pin. Now to make the final fidget spinner, I imported all the parts into one file. Then I made 4 duplicates of these ball bearings because as you can see I have 4 slots for this. Then I used the different constraints like axial alignment and plane coincident to create the final structure. Let me show you how I did it. As you can see, the parts have been separated now. Here I have the axial alignment. As you can see, the red parts have been axially aligned using this constraint. Then I used the plane coincident constraint between two different surfaces to merge them together and create the final structure. So now we have the final figure. To export it as a HTML mesh, I will click the assembly option, go to the export and export it as an HTML mesh which will be imported to Ultimator Cura for printing purpose. Now let's move on to Ultimaker Cura. So here we are in Ultimaker Cura to print the fidget spinner. The ideal case would be to print the parts separately to make a working model of it. But to keep it simple, let's print it as one. The settings that I am using here is 100% and for the printing I am using the normal preset. The quality is 0.15mm and the infill at 20%. Let's see how much time it takes. So we can see that it takes 2 hours and 51 minutes, which is well within the time constraint that we have been given. Now let's save it to the disk. We will use the format of G code and save it. That was it for my assignment. Thank you.